Tonight on NewsWatch, education in America versus the rest of the world. Are we failing our children? Or is the issue something different altogether? Plus, the latest from South Sudan and what Christians are facing there. And a sneak peek at Black Nativity. A story of keeping your faith and family even in the tough times. All this and much more tonight on NewsWatch. A report card on American education or time to rethink how we educate our children. Good evening, everyone. I'm Wendy Griffith. American students are lagging behind their Asian peers. That's according to a new international test results. They were tested in subjects like math, science, and reading. Education Secretary Arne Duncan is calling it a picture of educational stagnation. But critics of the current school reform movement disagree. Heather Sells joins us now from the CBN newsroom tonight with our top story. Heather?
Yeah, Wendy, these test results, they come out every 3 years. And the pattern is really now familiar. What we see happening is, low test scores for the U.S., anxiety on the part of parents and teachers, and renewed calls for reform and funding. But there are those in the education community who are saying, hold on, we shouldn't put so much stock into these scores.
American students scored below the international average in math and about average in science and reading. At the top of the pack, China, South Korea, Japan, and Hong Kong. But some in education, like Professor Christopher Tinkin, say these results are not cause for alarm. That's because American students are often pitted against elite students in other countries.
This test is only taken by about 6,000 kids in a country, and the testing populations vary widely. In Singapore, you won't find a lot of students with special needs or second language learners, even in school by age 15, let alone the testing population.
Tinkin also doesn't buy the argument that our test results mean we won't be able to compete globally. That's because the tests don't measure for qualities like creativity and innovation.
We've never scored at the top of the world on any international test since they've started in 1964. So we have about a 50-year history of not doing well on tests, but doing very well economically.
So why does the U.S. keep participating in tests where we're at a disadvantage and perform poorly? Tinkin suspects one reason may be the education reform industry that thrives on educational crises.
And the current school reform narrative is that American schools are failing, therefore we need to change things. Changing things in education results in good business for those companies that are involved in education reform.
So, Heather, it sounds like the playing field is far from level on these tests.
Right, Wendy, that's the concern that the U.S. is testing students who are diverse, ranging from special needs kids to second language learners, and China is testing its elite students, not the poor performing ones who may not even be in school at age 15.
So, what is a good way to assess a child's education then?
Yeah, well, Dr. Tinkin is suggesting that multiple measures are needed, and that can include standardized tests like the international one we're talking about. But it should also include classroom tests, report cards, the teacher's perspective, classroom work, etc. Kind of a scrapbook approach to really understanding how a student is performing.
Well, Heather, let me ask you this. What does Dr. Tinkin believe is the best way for students to prepare to compete globally?
Wendy, there is a big push in this country right now for standardization in education, but Tinkin is arguing that we need to develop diverse, creative curriculums and allow students a variety of approaches, especially in high school, to fully nurture kids' different gifts and talents. You are seeing the standardization approach evolve in the Common Core standards, which 45 states have adopted, but it's really a big debate in our country right now with lots of disagreement over what is the best way to teach. And lots of parents coming forward and saying we'd prefer to have local control and set our standards locally, not nationally. Wendy?
Very interesting debate. Heather Sells, thanks so much. Well, in other news, a truck containing radioactive material was recovered in Mexico this week, and authorities say whoever came in contact with its contents is in grave danger. The truck containing cobalt-60 was stolen from a gas station Monday. Both the truck and its contents were found 2 days later, abandoned in central Mexico. Authorities say no public risk remains, but whoever came in contact with the cobalt-60 is likely to die soon from exposure. Well, an Arctic cold front is blasting across the nation today. It's packing sub-zero temperatures in the upper Great Plains, ice in Arkansas, and up to 3 feet of snow in northern Minnesota. Forecasters say it's the coldest weather system in decades. Slick and icy roads have caused hundreds of accidents, and fatal crashes have been reported across several states, at least 5 of those in Minnesota.
Oh, we're gonna hit! We're gonna hit!
People started going into the ditch, losing control of their vehicles.
We already have all of our equipment and manpower strategically placed throughout the district, and they're in areas where they can be quickly and easily mobilized when the time comes.
Well, look at that. Heavy ice and snow are expected to cause widespread power outages as the storm continues south and then east. A little boy died today when his school bus collided with a dump truck in Idaho's Canyon County. He's been identified as 11-year-old Daniel Robert Cook. The county coroner says he died from blunt force trauma to his head. 4 other children were injured in that accident and taken to the hospital. The bus driver was also taken to the hospital due to emotional trauma. No details on what caused the accident. Prayer will stay in a South Carolina county for now. The ruling says Greenville County schools can continue to allow student-led prayer and hold school events and places of worship while a lawsuit over the issue continues. The American Humanist Association filed suit earlier this year against the school. They're seeking to prevent future events in religious venues. The suit says a student was offended and distressed when Mountain View Elementary held its graduation ceremony at a Christian university chapel. Well, Christmas signs are popping up around Redmond, Washington for the second year in a row. And while some people are taking issue with it, most people in Redmond, including the mayor, seem to be okay with the signs. They read, "It's okay to say Merry Christmas," followed by a Bible verse.
I feel that it's okay to say Merry Christmas or Happy Hanukkah or Happy Kwanzaa or whatever holidays that I don't know about that people here celebrate.
I would consider it offensive. It's kind of like everybody else is free to express their opinion. Why cannot Christians?
The signs are placed in the city right away, and the city right away is restricted for, or not restricted, but available for free speech. And this is a form of free speech, just like political signs are and other signs.
So far, no group or church has taken ownership of the signs. The mayor says he's not going to take them down. Good for him. Well, there's now a Bible app just for kids. The creators of YouVersion, the hugely popular and free Bible app, have just come out with another free app geared at kids ages 4 through 10. The Bible app for kids can be downloaded on Apple, Android, and some Kindle mobile devices. It's already been downloaded 1 million times since it was made available on Thanksgiving Day. The app was developed in collaboration with the international ministry One Hope, which claims to have touched nearly 1 billion young lives with the Word of God. Good for them. Well, another American tragedy in Benghazi. That story is next. Plus, an exclusive interview with a bishop from South Sudan on the struggles facing Christians there. And trouble for a well-known Christian convert in Egypt. What happened to this man who simply wants to practice his Christian faith? These stories and more still ahead on CBN's NewsWatch.
In 2008, my husband Gary departed for heaven. I was still grieving. And then to find out I had cancer, I began praying, God, how do I do this? Where do I do this? Cancer Treatment Centers of America was the place. Dr. Neelam outlined a plan that would take care of my mind and my body, and she prayed with me.
For Bible-believing Christians, we're able to pray with them in a much deeper way as they begin to really rely upon their faith.
At Cancer Treatment Centers of America, we believe in the power of faith and prayer as indispensable allies in the fight against complex and advanced stage cancer.
I'm back in Telluride on the mountain skiing. I feel strong and healthy.
Advanced medicine and technology.
And I am a survivor.
The warm embrace of the Spirit and the power of prayer.
These are happy tears.
Please go to cancercenter.com/faith. Appointments available now. Cancer Treatment Centers of America. Care that never quits.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
An American teacher has been shot to death while jogging in Benghazi, Libya. A hospital spokeswoman says the body of a man from Texas was brought to the hospital today with gunshot wounds. No one has claimed responsibility for the killing. A security official says the American teacher was jogging near the U.S. consulate. That's where the American ambassador and 3 other Americans were killed by Islamic militants September 11th of last year. Egypt's most famous Christian convert from Islam has been arrested by national security forces. Mohammed Higazi had fought publicly to try and change his religion on his ID card. Muslims who change their religion face persecution in Egypt. Higazi and his family had been running for their lives after Muslim leaders pronounced a death sentence against him. He previously told CBN News he'd been jailed and tortured by Egyptian state security agents who wanted him to return to Islam. Algerian deadly gunfire erupts in the Central African Republic today. It's the result of reported clashes in the republic's capital city. Mostly Muslim armed fighters who control the county are attacking Christians who support the ousted president. The UN Security Council authorized more military action by France and other African troops to restore order and hopefully rein in the rebels. They've been blamed for scores of human rights abuses. Algerian army helicopters kill a top al-Qaeda leader and 4 associates as they sped through the south of the country. An Algerian official says he was in a vehicle with 4 other men. Khalil Ould Adha is the number 3 leader of al-Qaeda's North Africa branch. He's also known as Abu Bassan. An Arabic newspaper reported he was on his way to meet with other al-Qaeda leaders in Algeria. Well, 22 years of war between North and South Sudan ended when Southerners gained independence back in July 2011. But fighting in disputed areas of Sudan has continued. A prominent Sudanese bishop is in Washington this week asking Americans to help alleviate the suffering. Gary Lane has more.
Khartoum is attempting to control and Islamize non-Arabs by waging jihad on regions like Sudan's Nuba Mountains. Makram Gassis, the bishop of Sudan's El Abeid diocese, says Christians and others in the Nubas are still suffering at the hands of the Islamist regime.
Now they are on the cross in a special way because bombing is daily. Khartoum government sealed all the entries to the Nuba Mountains, so no food, no medicine, no fuel, no nothing.
Not far from the Nuba Mountains, near the border between Sudan and South Sudan, is the disputed region of Abyei. A recent referendum was held and the people of Abyei voted to join South Sudan, something Sudan has rejected in the past.
Khartoum is finding it difficult to give up Abyei because Abyei is floating on oil.
And the people of the Nubas and Abyei aren't the only ones under attack. Christians still residing in Khartoum and elsewhere in the north are experiencing persecution.
Southerners now are not looked up after favorably. They tell them you are foreigners. You are unwanted here, why don't you go back to your country? There is pressure not to get any more personnel, missionary personnel from the outside. We don't have any more the possibilities of building churches anymore now in northern Sudan.
Senior international correspondent Gary Lane joins us now with more. And Gary, you've been to the Nuba Mountains several times. Tell us a little more about the people there.
Wendy, they're wonderful people. They just live in peace. They're Muslims, they're Protestants, Catholics, all living together. And you'll see many in the same family. Muslim, Protestant, Catholic, all in the same family, living well together. They just want to have peace. But the Khartoum government in the north wants to Islamize them and drive them out of that area. And they're real resilient, they're tough people, and they've been fighting this regime now for probably 2.5 decades.
Now, you talk about Bishop Gassis, you've met him. What kind of difference is he making?
Oh, he's a wonderful man, and he's done a lot for the people not only there, but in South Sudan. And, you know, he's part Darfurian. So he was one of the first ones to speak out about Darfur long before George Clooney went there and before it became noticed in the American media. So he was speaking out on their behalf. He's quite a humanitarian. He wants to see religious freedom come to Sudan and South Sudan.
Gary, what can Americans do? It seems like, you know, we're helpless, but we're not. What can we do?
No, and I asked Bishop Gassis that, and he said, look, yes, we need your prayers. It's important to prayer. But prayer without action is dead. They're dead prayers. We need to have you take action as well. So yes, pray for us, but call your senators, call your congressman, call the president, State Department, let them know how you feel about the people there and that something needs to be done to put more pressure on Sudan to stop this brutal war on the people there.
Well, in all your trips there, what is a story that just stands out right in your mind?
Oh, Wendy, I've been there over 20 times, and I'd say there are so many. But the ones that really affect me the most are the children. Children who have seen their villages destroyed, their parents murdered and killed, sisters, mothers raped, and also little girls raped as well. It's just brutal war against them. They're trying to drive them out and commit jihad, force them to become Muslims. They say, no, we will not.
Amazing faith.
But bold faith of Christians as well there.
Amazing faith that we in America can definitely learn from.
And it's still going on, Wendy.
Wow. All right. Gary Lane, thanks so much. We appreciate it. Up next, a new holiday movie with a superstar cast and a plot centered around timeless biblical truths found in the message of Christmas.
Hello? Is this thing on? Hey, kids, do you love games? And do you love discovering things? Well, do ya?
Then you're gonna love this. It's the new free Superbook Kids Bible app. You can play games, watch videos, find answers to your questions, and a whole lot more. The new Superbook Kids Bible app. Free downloads available on iTunes and Google Play now.
Jim is 38, mortgage, married, 3 great kids. He wants to protect his family with a $500,000 term life insurance policy. What do you think it'll cost him? $100 a month? 60? 40? Actually, none of the above. Jim can get a $500,000 policy from a highly rated insurer for under $19 a month. His secret? SelectQuote. SelectQuote is impartial. They'll comparison shop the pick of insurance companies like these to give you a choice of your best prices. SelectQuote has great savings on term life for women, too. Jim's wife, Deidre, can get a $500,000 policy for under $16 a month. SelectQuote has helped make term life insurance affordable for hundreds of thousands of people since 1985. How about you? Just call this number or go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
The story of the gospel is back on the big screen in a modern-day musical starring Oscar winner Jennifer Hudson, and it's produced by Bishop T.D. Jakes. The movie is called Black Nativity, and it shows that families often have to fight to stay together in tough times. Ephraim Graham brings us the story.
We are Jennifer Hudson brings her big voice back to the big screen for Black Nativity.
Jennifer, you won an Academy Award for your first one. Why did you choose this to come back to musicals?
Because I loved all the elements that was in it as far as the family aspect, music, the church roots in it, and just the fact that I feel as though we don't have enough of those films out there that brings families together, you know, at least not today. And I grew up off of things like that, so I'm like, I want to see this come back, and I want to be a part of it, you know, and helping bringing it back.
We've been evicted? I thought you were gonna work something out with the bank. I thought we could win it back.
I've been trying. It's hard getting that much together.
So we gotta move?
Hudson plays a single mother, separated from her parents, struggling to raise her teenage son, Langston.
He's tried to be the man of the house of his whole life. So really he tries not to show emotion, but it's there.
R&B singer and Disney star Jacob Lattimore plays Langston.
Even though I'm the leading character, there's a lot of times where I don't even have dialogue, where it's more I'm sort of speaking with my face. And I have to say that was probably one of the most biggest challenges. What helps me getting in character is having a great cast.
You made a mistake. I was told to expect my grandson, not some pickpocket.
Trouble at home forces Langston to spend Christmas with grandparents he's never met. They're played by Forrest Whitaker and Angela Bassett.
How would each of you describe your characters? You, grandma, you, grandfather, and minister. How would you describe you, grandma?
You can call me grandpa. Please don't say grandma.
That's right. Wife,
Slow down.
partner, first lady. There's so many other ways you can describe her before you get to
grandma.
Nana.
The story unfolds in modern-day Harlem. Many of the scenes take place here at St. Luke's Episcopal Church, where young Langston's grandfather is pastor.
Go on and tell Jesus in your time of trouble.
Reverend Cornell Cobbs successfully leads his flock, but struggles to hold his own family together.
I think that's very typical to what it's really like in real life, you know. You play out a scenario in the pulpit that is our ideals. That's what ministers do. We talk from the perspective of our ideals, but you go home and you live in your realities. And sometimes the gulf between your ideals and realities is so far that bridging that gap is a lifelong pursuit.
That authentic story is why Bishop T.D. Jakes signed on as a producer with Casey Lemons.
Look in your eyes.
Lemons wrote and directed the film. We visited her on set during the 33 days of shooting what she calls the most emotional work of her career.
My sister died in the process of working on it. And that was an extremely hard loss for me, like cataclysmic. And I didn't know, not just that I was ever going to be able to write again, but really how I was going to move forward with that loss. And so somehow I put all my feelings and into the piece in a way that I can't quite describe, but I did. So it's very personal.
There is a rich history behind this big screen production of Black Nativity. The play was written by Harlem Renaissance poet Langston Hughes and first performed off-Broadway back in 1961.
Sometimes I feel like a motherless child.
And just like the 1961 production, this adaptation is filled with unforgettable music. And Casey Lemons says there is one message in both the music and the storyline.
For me, it contained what I think are very human questions. You know, how do you keep going and keep believing when so much bad has happened? You know, how do you have faith? You know, how do you keep having faith? And the answer that I put into the script is, you know, proof of God's grace is all around you. You just have to open your eyes.
Ephraim Graham, CBN News, New York.
Thank you, Ephraim. Up next, one man's unique way of delivering Christmas miracles, all with the purpose of pointing others to Jesus.
announcing an important breakthrough in healthcare that can benefit everyone. If you or anyone you love needs affordable health insurance, regardless of a pre-existing medical condition, call Quick Insurance 123 today and get the immediate relief you deserve. Quick Insurance 123 was created to provide affordable health insurance to all uninsured Americans, with or without pre-existing conditions. This is not a discount card. This is a real insurance program that lets you choose from many affordable health plans, with access to doctors, hospitals, emergency services, and more. So call the number on your screen now and get the health coverage you need, just for calling. As a special bonus, we'll send you a free prescription savings card that could save you up to 85% on your prescriptions. That's right, you could save up to 85% on your prescriptions just for calling. Call Quick Insurance 123 to find out how you can get affordable health insurance and receive your free prescription savings card just for calling. Don't wait. Getting a free quote is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call today.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
Well, an anonymous diner has been leaving generous tips at restaurants across the country, signing each simply "Tips for Jesus." CBN's Lori Johnson has the story.
According to the mystery man's Instagram account, he's, quote, doing the Lord's work one tip at a time. One of his latest stops, Moondog's Bar in Port Orchard, Washington.
It's very unique, it's like a lightning strike.
The staff of Moondog says a stranger at the end of the bar rang up a $576 check after buying everyone around. Then he left a $5,000 tip.
Are you sure this is what you want to do? And the guy goes, absolutely, I've made a ton of money in my life. This is my way of giving back.
The tip was divided up among all the staff, each person getting $500.
Well, I have 2 little girls, so they're going to get a good Christmas this year.
This isn't the first time the mystery tipper has struck. $500 on a $24 bill in Hollywood, California. $3,000 on an $87 bill in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and the list goes on. Some regular customers of Moondog's say those at the restaurant deserve it. Every year they give away free holiday meals to people in need.
This last Thanksgiving we gave 330 meals out.
No one knows who the mystery tipper is or where he'll go next, but it's sure to show up on his Instagram account, Tips for Jesus. Lori Johnson, CBN News.
That's a real-life Santa Claus there. Well, an iconic Norman Rockwell painting about praying in public has been sold at auction for a record-setting $46 million. The painting is titled Saying Grace, and that's it for us. Good night.